Good evening, everyone. I'd like to take a moment to welcome everyone to the June 17, 2026 meeting of City Council here in Escondido. Please rise for a moment of reflection and remain standing for the flag salute.
Thank you. Please join me, if you'd like, in a moment of reflection. We come together tonight to say thank you. Thank you for the privilege, the blessing, the honor it is to serve here in the city of Escondido. We come together tonight as a diverse community, a community of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different presents, and different futures, yet one common goal, and that is the betterment of this city. We come together tonight as a diverse community, and we seek guidance, wisdom, and discernment during deliberations that transpire this evening. And in doing so, we lift up Councilmember Fitzgerald, Councilmember Martinez, Councilmember Christian Garcia, Deputy Mayor Joe Garcia, and Mayor White. May they be granted peace and wisdom as they lead our city into a bright and prosperous future. Amen.
Very well. Let's go ahead and have our roll call.
Councilmember Martinez.
Present.
Councilmember Christian Garcia.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Joe Garcia.
Here.
Councilmember Fitzgerald.
Present.
And Mayor White is joining us virtually via Zoom.
Very well. Thank you very much. There was no closed session today, so there's no closed session to report. Do we have oral communications?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, we do. And for the public, those who've signed up on non-agenda comments, especially regarding the ice rink, since that is not on the agenda, it's part of oral communications. We'll have 10 minutes of non-agenda public comment right now. Then when those 10 minutes are up, the remainder of those who've signed up after 10 minutes, that'll be at the end of the meeting. So I just want to let you know there'll be 10 minutes of public comment now, and the rest is at the end of the meeting. So our first speaker is Greg Oliver.
And while Greg comes up, I just want to let everyone know, if anyone is here for item 12, the e-bike ordinance, that agenda item has been continued to the meeting for June 24th. So if you're here to speak on that, that's continued to the 24th. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, Deputy Mayor Garcia, and the city manager. My name is Greg Oliver, and I am an Escondido resident. I am here to voice my strong opposition to the proposed ice sports facility inside of Kit Carson Park. Our public parklands are finite, irreplaceable community assets. Dropping an industrial-sized commercial sports complex into the heart of the park fundamentally commercializes the land that belongs to the public for passive recreation. Now, I don't live near Kit Carson Park, but I do live very near the Chatham Brothers Barrel Yard site, and I'm fully aware how the city reacts to environmental issues after the fact. They don't. Our history shows that the city will push a project through, and when it turns out to be an environmental disaster, the institutional memory fades, everyone backs away, and the hammer drops on the residents. We cannot afford that same hands-off reactive approach here. The reality of what this neighborhood will inherit is clear. Heavy traffic congestion, predictable parking issues, constant light pollution, and around-the-clock noise pollution from massive commercial cooling units. No benefit will accrue to the everyday residents who actually live in the area. All the glossy promises about remaining sensitive to the community will evaporate. Problems will be attributed to factors beyond our control, and the lessons learned will be about avoiding accountability, not about avoiding future failures. The upside is that we will have done a massive favor for someone who might invite one or two of you to a luxury box, a VIP party, or an introduction advantageous to your ambitions down the road. This is how the City Council helps the residents, and you are remarkably consistent. This is my opinion, and my opinion is the product of my observation and what I see in your judgment. Please protect the public trust, preserve the green space that is Kit Carson Park, require independent environmental analysis now, and preserve the integrity of the park. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next speaker is Jesus Bustamante.
Good afternoon, City Council members, City Manager. My name is Jesus Bustamante. I have been living in Escondido since 2020, and Escondido embraced me and gave me a home that I really love. We had this project, and with this project comes many different questions that they need to be arised. One of those is actually a math question. So on the RIN foundations, we are saying that they are going to be having a revenue of $237,000 per year to Escondido for a lease that is going to happen on the RINs, on the Kit Carson for the RINs that they're going to be building. That means that they're going to be paying 0.03 per dollar. The commercial lease, the normal commercial lease, is around 0.15 or 0.20 per dollar. So we're giving away this place for pennies on the dollar, for nothing. And then it comes more questions about math happening. The RIN Foundation financial records on 2024, they show a deficit of $1 million. So they're losing money. Then on 2023 happens again. They are having a deficit of $3 million. So they're losing money. The problem here is that we don't have a statement for 2025. The reason for that is because the filling is going to be coming on November. So they're pushing to just get this conditional leasing before they have that actual filling happening. Now, where is that money going to be coming from? Because they need at least $120 million. That's what they were mentioning for the construction. So there is 3 different ways for them to actually get it. A loan that they are going to be probably not going to be getting because they're having losses, or they're going to be needing to have a high interest rate or just putting assets in front. I don't think that that's going to happen. They can go on a partner venture with some other company, with some other construction company that is going to be helping them. So that means that they're going to be giving away part of the rings for them to have it. I don't think that that's going to happen. The third one, and the one that is more concerning, is tax write-offs that is going to be happening for the Anaheim tax, for Broadcom, for the Seagulls, because they're going to be just putting money on it. And who's going to be getting that tax write-off? We know the name, Ernst & Mali. So this is not a project for Escondido. This is a tax write-off for them. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ruth Weber.
She'll be here later.
Oh, she's okay. I'm so sorry. Stephen Emery.
Good evening, Council. I'm not here about the park this evening. My name is Stephen Embury, and I live at 838 West 10th Ave here in Escondido. I am a member of the South Tulip Neighborhood Group. I asked this question of the city. Is the city of Escondido reactive or proactive? Redwood from 9th to 13th is a very heavily traveled residential street. It has no sidewalks from 9th to 11th. From 11th to 12th, it has sidewalks on one side of the street. And from 12th to 13th, we have sidewalks on both sides. That happens to be Redwood Terrace Senior Center. As a major pedestrian walkway for elementary students going both to Grace Lutheran and Felicita School, and with Chick-fil-A opening, it is seeing heavier and faster vehicle traffic. Residents have been calling this section of Redwood the raceway. We have asked that a four-way stop sign be put on 11th and Redwood. The city's response after their study was that it didn't meet the requirements. And one of the reasons was there wasn't enough accidents. So I ask again, is the city reactive? Does it have to wait for accidents? Or is it going to be proactive? And let's prevent those accidents. Let's be proactive. Thank you, Council.
Our next speaker is Dr. Juan Bribeska.
City Clerk, if I could also ask you to get the gentleman's information.
Oh, sure. I have it
For
here.
me.
I'll make sure I send it to you.
Thank you.
Dr. Juan, yes. And this will be our final speaker, and we'll shift to the consent calendar after this.
Good afternoon, members of the City Council. My name is Dr. Juan Bribiesca, and I'm a resident of Escondido, and I live very close to Kit Carson Park. I'm here tonight to voice my strong opposition regarding the proposed ice skate arena at Kit Carson Park. Kit Carson Park is a public asset meant for the entire community. Turning over public parkland to a private organization to build a specialized facility is a disservice to the residents who rely on this green space. Specifically, I'm deeply concerned about the plan to remove our public softball fields to make room for this private arena. Softball leagues, families, local athletes use these fields constantly. Removing established accessible outdoor sports infrastructure to install a commercial ice rink strips away recreational options from a large portion of our community. Furthermore, our local roads cannot handle this development. Bear Valley Parkway is already severely congested at different times of the day. Adding a massive tree-sheer private ice arena will bring regional traffic gridlock to this exact corridor, turning our already difficult daily commute into an absolute nightmare for local residents. The public turnout and feedback at the recent workshops on June 9th and June 13th made the community stance very clear. The majority of Escondido residents are firmly against this project. We do not want our public parkland privatized. We do not want the traffic nightmare on Bear Valley Parkway, and we do not want our softball fields removed. I urge the council to listen to the overwhelming majority of our constituents. Please do not advance this project any further when it returns to the City Council, and protect the public integrity of Kit Carson Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Now that 10 minutes have elapsed, we'll move on to the remainder of the agenda. And just as a reminder to the public, so that's the first oral communication, non-agenda public comment. There's a second section of that at the end of the agenda, so we'll go through the other items now. And those who have signed up, and I still have all of your forms here, you'll get called up. You'll also have an opportunity to speak. It's just at the end of the meeting. Deputy Mayor?
Wonderful, thank you. So let's move
Real
forward
quick,
now.
No. Mr. Thomas, the council policy is 10 minutes at the beginning. That's what the policy is, so that's why. And it's not on the agenda. Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Very well, thank you. Let's go ahead and move to the consent calendar. Has anyone pulled any of the consent?
I'd like to request pulling item 7, the approval to submit a grant application regarding the transportation, the fleet program.
I believe it's
Wonderful.
item 6. Item 6.
I think
Item
it's-
7, she said?
It's item 7, I believe. Sandex Flexible Fleet Pilot Program.
Oh, okay. I see. Got it.
Is there anything else that's been, that would like to be pulled? Anything from the public?
None from the public.
Wonderful. All right, so then we'll go ahead and move to, I'll make the motion to approve the consent items 1 through 8 with the exception of 7. And do I have a second? There's a second, very well. Let's go ahead and vote.
Voting is open. And Mr. Mayor, I'm going to ask you to unmute. How do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion approved 5-0.
Very well. Now we will go to item number 7. Councilmember Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yes, so item 7 regarding the Sandag's funding for a fleet program or to expand transportation. Last week I mentioned that I learned through Sandag that inflation has gone up 4.7% since January. Gas prices are going up and everything, and transportation is a big issue. A lot of people have expressed it in the public. We've gotten emails. Some people have come here to express that. And so there was an opportunity to look into the funding from what we've been paying into Transnet since 2008, which is that quarter-cent tax. So in doing so, I think this is something that hopefully will alleviate the financial strains that we're feeling here, and then also for the youth that maybe are wanting to engage in sports and schools and after-school programs, but the buses are not available after 9 p.m. This looks like it would be a really good option. So I thought being able to provide, and that's why I pulled it, I'd like to hear the public that has expressed concern over traffic, transportation, and even parking. This could alleviate a lot of parking issues for people who want to go to downtown or areas in Escondido where that can be challenging. So I wanted you to hear what the potential is in this, and then also after, with some questions and some more engagement, what might be some more opportunities to follow that will be beneficial for us. Thank you.
Very well. Then we'll have staff presentation.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor and council members. My name is Craig Williams. I work with the Traffic Engineering Group within Development Services. We have been interested in pursuing, you're right, thank you. We have been interested in pursuing a flexible fleets grant for some time. Back in 2023, the city was successful in getting a grant application to put together a community transportation needs assessment. And we did some extensive outreach with that as part of the CATS, Comprehensive Active Transportation Strategy effort, and did come up with a study that it was leading us to a follow-up grant opportunity. Unfortunately, that grant opportunity, the funding source dried up. So we had a lot of very good information about the demand for such a system, and it really focused on the central part of the city. This particular map was done separately, but it's fairly reflective of that original study. It shows the existing transit lines, but it also shows kind of a demand area here where, as you mentioned, there are students that are needing to get around the city. There are seniors wanting to get around the city, persons with disabilities needing to get around the city, and it's very difficult for them to even get to our transit lines simply because of the distance. And it really serves as a very effective first mile, last mile. Sure. Okay, thank you. Thank you. It serves as a very effective first mile, last mile system. The system that we're looking into and what we'd like to pursue with Sandag, if we're successful with this grant application, is kind of a van system, 2 or 3 vans that would provide an on-demand service around the city. The system is provided via an app or a telephone call, and then the system picks up the person, delivers it either to their destination or to a bus stop. If someone wants to go, for example, from somewhere in the city and wants to go to San Diego, or they want to go to Oceanside, they could deliver them to the Escondido Transit Center in a manner that they wouldn't necessarily have access for. So it really provides a very effective and a fairly efficient system, but it's providing a means of transportation to people that don't normally have access to vehicles, but still need opportunities to get around, get to sports appointments, get to doctor appointments, things like that. This was a slide that was actually goes back to 2023 when we first started this effort. We talked about this map. Microtransit, as I mentioned, fills in gaps. It complements fixed routes, and it converts sometimes underperforming routes into something successful, simply because people have an opportunity to get to that route or get to some other destination. It really provides an excellent system, some excellent opportunities for transportation as people need it. There are several companies that have established a relationship with Sandag, and through that grant opportunity, we would be contracting with a vendor to provide the system. It isn't something that the city would go out and buy vehicles to operate. It's something that we would contract with an operator to provide, much like we somewhat do with NCTD, but it's larger, it's shorter trips, and it's on demand rather a fixed route system. Call, you set up an appointment, somebody picks you up. So it's a system that has been in operation for the last 10 years, perhaps, in the U.S. A lot of people might recognize the name Fred, which was the little vehicle that travels around downtown San Diego. Is called FRED, stands for Free Ride Everywhere Downtown. The system that we're looking at for the city is more of a system of vans that would pick up people, partly because they provide a little better efficiency and they provide more people to be able to get on board. But this is kind of a tried and true system that a lot of cities have taken advantage of. Oceanside has had a system in place for several years. Pacific Beach, National City, Chula Vista, downtown, and San Diego. There are some neighborhoods in San Diego that have also taken advantage of this program. So the opportunity is all of the grants are $1 million. We'd have the opportunity to do that, and what we would propose is something over a 2-year period, and then hopefully the city would see the benefit in this, and either through sponsorship or through direct appropriation, make funds available to continue the operation. But roughly the cost of the operation is about $500,000 a year. First 2 years would be covered by the grant, and then subsequent years, should the city decide to continue, would be the responsibility of the city. The grant program does look for a somewhat of a commitment from the city to continue to operate at least for 1 year afterwards. So the other opportunities are there. So it's interesting program. There are some costs associated with it here that we could provide for you in more detail if you'd like, but if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm actually pleased that we had all this information on hand, and then we're able to get just some more updated information, so thank you for all that work. On the van systems, if it's a van, it's for multiple people at a time. So is it going to be used, I don't know if it's called the ride share, the Lyft, or Uber share, where they pick up more than one person at a time? Is it going to be for multiple people being picked up at different locations?
Yes.
And then dropped, okay.
Yeah, you would either, as I mentioned, you would either call and say, I'm here and I need to go there, or you go on an app, kind of like you do when you're scheduling a Lyft trip or something. They come to pick you up and then they take you to the destination that you want to go.
So if there's somebody that has also requested it that's on that same route, do they get picked up along the way? I'm wondering, is it just transporting one person at a time, or do they pick up several as they go throughout?
I don't
We don't
know
know yet.
exactly what the answer to that question would be. I would be happy to ask one of the
just-
vendors and get back to you on that.
Okay. And then also, I think it's on slide 15, if you could go to that one. 15, let's see, there was something here. Okay, that's where it was, picking up. You mentioned the other cities that have this program, and I know Oceanside, and I think it's National City, I'm not sure, but 2 of the 3 definitely have, they charge, but it's a very small charge. I think Oceanside charges, if somebody requests to get picked up from a bus stop or somewhere where there's the end, it's $2.50. If it's from their home, it's maybe $5, definitely a lot less than Uber or Lyft. Have you looked into, or is there any consideration at this time what that might look like? Because I was looking at the cost to see of what might offset the cost if this program continues.
We have not gotten into the details of what they might charge. Now, from my familiarity with these programs over the last 5 or 6 years, a lot of times agencies will make the rides free for the first couple of months just to get people kind of acclimated to it, and then they might charge a kind of a token amount. But you are correct that if they are looking to connect to a transit line, that it's a less expensive ride, and certainly a lot less expensive than what you might pay for Uber or Lyft.
Yeah.
But it really depends on how the city wants to structure it, and we honestly haven't gotten into those details yet.
Okay. Yeah, my hope is too for the students that are at the after-school programs or sports, finding a way to be able to sponsor that for them, so there is no cost to the families.
It might be something we could
Yeah.
set up with the schools to provide some sort of a pass.
With this, because I knew it was coming up, on one of the recent Air Pollution Control District meetings, vehicle emissions are really one of the highest priorities as far as being able to get those numbers down. So with the fleet, the vehicles that we're going to be contracting with, are they electric vehicles, low-emission vehicles? Do we know? If not, then I think that if we could look into perhaps seeing if the fleet provider offers electric vehicles.
Sure.
If so, then if you could look into, if staff could look into reaching out to APCD, because there is some grant funding through them for this type of program. So SANDAG can get us started, but
Correct.
the Air Pollution Control District also
I
has some.
would love to be able to do EV vehicles.
We
right?
would love to get that many, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your presentation,
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate it.
Are there any comments, questions from the audience? Any forms filled out?
None for this.
Very
item.
well, not for this item. Okay, let us then, do I
Thank
have a
you.
motion to approve item number 7? It's so moved. Is there a second? There's a second.
Yeah. Voting is open. And Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Very well. We'll move on to current business, community services fee. Staff? will give us a presentation. Number 9.
All right, here we go. Good evening, Mayor and Deputy Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm Robert Rhodes, Assistant Director of Community Services, and tonight I will present the proposed updates to the Community Services Department fee schedule with a focus on changes that were made in response to the City Council's direction and feedback received at the May 17th, 2026 meeting. Tonight's presentation is organized around 4 key areas. I will begin with a very brief recap of prior City Council direction, followed by a summary of the updates made to the fee schedule. Then I will highlight some additional changes that were made for future planning and preparation purposes, and conclude with the recommended action before you this evening. First, I'd like to revisit the prior council direction. So that would be in July of 2024. The City Council approved a comprehensive fee update that included full cost recovery or top of market model, where comparable pricing was unavailable. A 10% increase was applied. Then on May 17, 2026, staff returned to present the program performance and participation impacts. Based on that discussion, City Council provided the following recommendations. Adjust the Learn to Swim pricing to align with market median. Introduce a senior discount at the Park Avenue Community Center for rentals. Monitor programs and revisit pricing if participation or usage drops by more than 25%. And then postpone the implementation of a consumer price index or CPI adjustments until fiscal year 2028. So these recommendations were directly informed by the updates that I'm presenting this evening. The first step in updating our fee schedule was to clean up the document in general. This included removing inactive or unused items, including the skate park fees, which we dismantled in January of this year. The printed recreation guide advertising fees, as we currently do digital printing only, and then the Pioneer Room fees, just to name a few. We also improved a clarity and consistency in the language across the fee schedule. An example of this include the standardization of items like application fee, group activity, and picnic areas versus parks areas. So in the next slide, you will note that several targeted adjustments were made in response to council feedback based on the observed usage and trends. So as a part of these changes, we also refined several specific fees to better reflect the council direction and program performance trends. This includes the Learn to Swim fees, where they were adjusted to align with the market median pricing over top of market pricing. Tennis court fees were reduced following the significant decline in usage, and the group activity fee structure was revised to improve affordability and access. Furthermore, the price of the reusable library tote bag was modestly increased just to reflect those rising costs. We also introduced several new fees, including 50% discount for Escondido resident senior group rentals at the Park Avenue Community Center, fees for the City Hall Council Chambers patio, which has had increased requests over the use over the last year, and then also special event staffing fees, which will now be based on cost recovery. Collectively, these updates better align with pricing for market conditions, improved accessibility, and then long-term cost recovery for us. So looking ahead, the proposed fee schedule also supports future planning and the expansion of community use opportunities. Staff has identified additional picnic areas beyond Kit Carson Park to provide future reservable outdoor spaces as more formal amenities are developed. We also have established pricing for special event locations where no official structure had previously existed. That includes areas like Grape Day Park, Maple Street Plaza, and Heritage Garden. Additionally, in response to increased demand for specialized park amenities such as pickleball courts, futsal courts, and the skate spots, we've also incorporated those fees for their use in the special events process. Overall, these efforts have positioned the city to better manage our growing demand while continuing to recover costs and expand access to those community spaces. So with that, staff is requesting the City Council adopt Resolution Number 2026-103, approving the proposed fee updates for the Community Services fee schedule, and if those are approved this evening, those changes will take effect as of January 1st, 2026. That concludes my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Do we have any public comments on this item?
None.
Very well. Let us move on to council.
Oh, if you come forward and you'll do as a public comment. Great.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Christina Miller. I had a question for the presenter. Has there been an update to the law enforcement fee schedule as it relates? I didn't hear it, but bad vision, brain injury. Has there been an update to the law enforcement fee schedule as it relates to moving violations or parking citations?
That is not my area of expertise.
Cool, thank you. Thank you, sorry, thank you.
Thank you.
Very well. Are there any other questions regarding this item?
Was it, you said January is when the fee's going to, or July? Because I saw July on
Sorry,
the.
I may have said January, but I meant July 1st.
Okay, got it. Just wanted to, okay, thank you. I saw that on the slide, but then, we quickly moved to this one. Just want to make sure. Okay, thank you. I will move to approve.
I'll second.
Second.
And I'd also like to comment, thank you for that, for going back and staff working hard at getting those fees down to a reasonable and fair and equitable rate. And then I was really grateful to see the youth swim program be reduced again, because that's really important for safety, and then also for the seniors to make it more accessible. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Any other discussions? Not seeing any, then there's a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and vote.
Voting is open. And Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion approved, 5-0.
We'll move on to public hearings. Item number 10, 5-year capital improvement program and fiscal year 2026-27 capital improvement program budget, and adoption of the regional transportation improvement program. Vinny, please give us the presentation. And let me see, open the public hearing now. There we go.
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and council members. I'm Vinny Bernabeo with the City Manager's Office, and tonight I'll be presenting the final capital improvement plan for fiscal years 2026 and 27 through 2030 and 31, and I'll be requesting council's formal adoption. We're bringing forward the final capital improvement plan that's been refined based on your direction, community engagement, and updated project information for formal adoption. I'll briefly highlight some key investments, note any updates that we've had since the preliminary presentation on May 20th, and then walk through the recommended action before you. So I'll start with traffic safety, which continues to represent the largest share of our capital investment, and it's one of the clearest priorities that we've heard from both council and the community. This slide shows our traffic safety and transportation investments, comparing last year to what's proposed for fiscal year 2026 and 27. What you're seeing here is a mix of ongoing programs, projects moving into their next phase, and a few targeted additions based on council direction and community input. One change since the preliminary presentation is the addition of improvements at West Valley Parkway and Citricado. I do want to note that this is a design study, not construction, and it's focused on evaluating targeted changes at the intersection of West Valley Parkway and Citricado. Possible construction that could come out of this would be signal timing, striping, configuration, or other improvements to improve traffic flow, reduce congestion, and enhance overall safety at the spot. This location came up consistently from both council and the community, so its inclusion really reflects our efforts to stay responsive while taking a data-driven approach. More broadly, traffic and pedestrian safety continues to be one of the city's highest priorities, and that shows up clearly in this year's investment. In total, this category increases from about $13.5 million last year to $16.6 million this year, an increase of roughly $3.1 million. Of that, $350,000 will be supported by Measure I, focused on community responsive improvements like the Citricato traffic study, digital message boards, and projects through the Transportation and Community Safety Commission. So overall, this represents a continued investment in safety, system reliability, and mobility while directly responding to what we've heard from the community. Beyond transportation, this category expands that focus on safety to include emergency response and critical infrastructure. So this slide highlights our broader public safety investments, supporting emergency response, critical infrastructure, and overall community safety. Where the last section focused on traffic and pedestrian safety, this really expands that lens to the systems that keep the city functioning day to day. That's everything from emergency response equipment to stormwater and drainage infrastructure. And those systems are directly connected. Investments in storm drains and channels reduce flooding risk and keep roadways functional, and traffic improvements help reduce collisions and improve emergency response times. So together, these investments reflect a more integrated approach to safety across the city. In terms of investment, this category increases from about $1.9 million last year to $3.8 million this year, an increase of roughly $1.9 million. That increase is largely driven by targeted investments in equipment and technology for first responders, like the Axon Officer Safety Suite, as well as continued investment in infrastructure like storm drain and channel maintenance. Of that total, about $1.52 million is supported by Measure I, focused on equipment and system upgrades that improve readiness and long-term reliability. Overall, this is about maintaining the systems that we rely on every day, reducing risk, and making sure the city's equipped to respond both to routine incidents and larger events. Beyond safety and infrastructure, the CIP also includes continued investments in community amenities. This slide focuses on investments in parks, lakes, and our library services, things that really support our day-to-day quality of life in the community. While these are smaller in scale than our safety and infrastructure investments, they're some of the most visible and most directly shaped by what we've heard through community engagement. Across the park's visioning workshops and your Escondido feedback, we consistently heard a desire to improve existing amenities, things like courts, playgrounds, and recreational spaces. That's what you'll see reflected here. The focus is really on maintaining and upgrading what we already have, rather than expanding into entirely new facilities, whether that's resurfacing courts, replacing aging equipment at Dixon Lake, or continuing investments in library materials. In terms of investment, this category increases from about $250,000 last year to roughly $1.085 million this year, an increase of about $835,000. Unlike in the previous categories, these projects are primarily funded through a mix of restricted sources like development impact fees and utility funds, which is why you don't see Measure I reflected here. These projects are about making targeted, community-driven improvements that enhance recreation, public spaces, and quality of life, while maintaining balance with our broader infrastructure and safety investments. This slide brings everything together across the three categories we've just walked through. In total, the capital improvement plan represents about $21.5 million in capital investment, up from roughly $15.6 million last year. That's an increase of about $5.9 million. As we've discussed, that increase is intentional and aligned with both council priorities and community input. The largest share continues to focus on traffic and transportation, followed by targeted investments in public safety and community amenities. Altogether, this reflects a balanced approach, prioritizing core infrastructure and safety while still making targeted investments that support quality of life. You can also see the role of Measure I funding here. Of the total, about $1.87 million is supported by Measure I, primarily directed toward public safety, traffic safety, and community improvements. As you can see, the CIP represents a coordinated citywide investment strategy that prioritizes safety, maintains critical infrastructure, and makes targeted investments where a community will see and feel them the most. Staff is recommending 3 actions tonight to approve the full CIP. Firstly, adopt resolution number 2026-93, approving the fiscal years 2026 and 27 through 2030 and 31 5-year capital improvement program and the fiscal year 2026 and 27 capital improvement program budget. Second, to adopt resolution number 2026-94, approving the RMRA fiscal year 2026 and 27 project list. Third, adopt resolution number 2026-95, approving the Regional Transportation Improvement Program for fiscal years 2027 through 2031. Together, these actions formally adopt the city's capital improvement plan and budget for the coming fiscal year, while also approving the related transportation programming actions required for state and regional funding. Before closing, I just wanted to briefly highlight the city CIP dashboard, which provides a public, map-based view of major city-led capital projects. There is also a separate dashboard for private development projects, and that can be found on the planning page of the city's website. The CIP dashboard allows the community to track project status, timelines, and funding, and will be updated with these new capital improvements upon council adoption of this CIP. And as always, we'll continue to engage with the community through yourescondido.com. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comments on this item?
None.
Very well. At this time, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll open it up for council discussion. We'll start with Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you, Vinny, for the great presentation. I really appreciate the different, the table and showing where Measure I funds are going. Could we go back to the list on traffic, please?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You mentioned that I'm really happy to see the design study. Is that the same as a feasibility study?
Yes.
They're interchangeable?
It will determine which type of improvement that will be and the conditions at the site as well. Yeah.
Great. And where exactly is that on here?
It's the top one on the list,
Oh,
West
I see.
Valley
Got it. Okay,
Parkway and
thank you.
Citricado.
Okay, I missed it because I was looking for study, so great.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, that's great. I'm excited to share the updates with the residents in that area that have been reaching out, so thank you. I support, first of all, great job, because I know you came on, it's been what, maybe less than a year that you've been on staff? And
yeah.
you've done a great job just with the community improvement project hearings and really prioritizing our long list of capital improvement projects. We have many needs in the city. And again, every day, I'm so grateful to the voters of Escondido who made it possible for us to be able to address some of these high priority issues like traffic. So with Measure I, so thank you for giving us that breathing room to the residents and voters. So I appreciate that. And I will be supporting this item. So I'll move to approve all 3 items, yeah.
All right.
Very well. There's a second from Councilmember Fitzgerald. Councilmember Garcia? No comments. Councilmember Fitzgerald?
Just a comment. Good job on all this. I know it was a lot of work, and I appreciate it, and it's a really exciting time. I really just want to point out that the CIP dashboard, to have that available to the public to see where we are and how we're progressing. I hope that the public will take advantage of it so you can see how this money is being put to work and how the city is improving. So thank you for the presentation.
Very well. If the mayor had any comments, he would let us know, as he informed us.
No comments on this item.
Very well. Thank you. Same thing. Haven't been here a very long time. I was also looking as Councilmember Martinez for the West Valley Citricado intersection. Oh, where is it? Where? And then I realized that it was at the top
Right
of
there at the top.
the very first one. But anyway, this is a wonderful opportunity to see how staff in the city is increasing the investment in this area that has such a great need. So with that, I'll close my comments, and I guess we can vote.
Yeah, voting is open. And Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you.
Very well, we'll move on to fiscal year, to item number 11, a public hearing also, fiscal year 2026 to 2027 operating budget adoption. I will open the public hearing.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and City Council members. My name is Christina Holmes, Director of Finance for the city. And the public hearing before you this evening is for the adoption of the fiscal year 2027 operating budget. During the presentation, I'll share about the community workshops held this budget season, review the major budget additions in the fiscal year 2027 citywide operating budget, review the projected revenue for this upcoming fiscal year, and then close with the annual appropriations limit and salary and benefits plan. So there are 4 separate resolutions with this item. The presentation will describe each one of these requirements, and then at the conclusion, we are requesting City Council approval for each item. I'll begin with the public outreach and community workshops. Staff held 2 budget workshops in April to provide an opportunity for the public to share local community priorities and city service needs for the upcoming fiscal year. For those unable to attend, a pre-recorded version of the presentation was made available and is still currently available on the city's YouTube channel. After the presentation, attendees had the opportunity to ask questions of staff and share their priorities for the city. A variety of topics were discussed, including questions and comments around housing, home grant funding, parking laws, the city's user fee schedule, and questions about development around the city. The attendees that provided their contact information received a follow-up email with the additional information, answers to questions, and links to helpful pages on the city's website, including yourescondido.com and the Capital Project dashboard. For the 2027 operating budget, utilizing both Measure I local district tax and general fund revenues, the budget provides resources for the essential services identified in the Measure I ballot language, in addition to City Council priorities. This year's budget builds on the initial investments that were allocated last fiscal year and adds resources from Measure I revenue for 2 high-priority citywide initiatives. The first is funding for the wildfire mitigation plan, starting with a wildfire mitigation software tool. This will use data to model wildfire behavior, support decision makers to pinpoint high-risk zones, prioritize interventions, and record mitigation efforts. In future years, additional resources, including staff positions and equipment, will be recommended to further build on the wildfire mitigation plan. The second citywide initiative is for continued investments in traffic safety. For the police department, 4 new positions have been added, including 2 traffic officers, a motor officer, and a program coordinator for the traffic division. Measure I funding will also provide for additional resources for the Transportation and Community Safety Commission to complete high-priority traffic safety projects. The purchase of 4 digital message boards to display public safety campaigns for traffic safety and important notices citywide, and funding for an upgrade to the police safety suite. In addition to the resources added for the wildfire mitigation plan and traffic safety, this next slide lists the other new investments also included in the fiscal year 2027 operating budget. Funding for the November 2026 election, consulting services as the city considers next steps for the library, Year 1 funding to move forward with general plan and zoning code updates, and additional funding for the Development Services Department has been added to the operating budget. 19 new staff positions and 1 reinstated position have been added to the budget. This includes 1 position for finance, 2 fire department positions, 5 information systems positions, 4 utility-funded lakes positions, and 8 police department positions in total. This includes the 4 police department positions added to support the citywide traffic safety initiative. And then for the fiscal year 2027 general fund and Measure I revenue projections, this table shows the current fiscal year 2026 budgeted operating revenue, followed by the fiscal year 2027 amounts projected for this upcoming fiscal year. During the May 20th budget workshop with the City Council, we went through each category of revenue and the factors that are driving the anticipated increases and decreases this upcoming fiscal year. So overall operating revenue is projected to increase by 4.7%, or a little over $6.3 million. Then for Measure I, we still have not completed a full fiscal year for collecting the Measure I tax revenue. That last allocation for this fiscal year will be received by the city in August. But based on the data collected so far, the consultants are projecting an increase in revenue of about $532,120 to reach $36,588,000 for Measure I. So this next table is a summary of the general fund and Measure I local district tax fund operating budget combined. The total projected sources of funds in that middle column is $182,778,370, and total operating uses of funds are $273,990. There's a little over $5.5 million in Measure I funds that remain unallocated. Next is the adoption of the annual appropriations limit as required by state law. So this was adopted by California voters in 1980 and places limits on the amount of proceeds of taxes that state and local agencies can appropriate and spend each year. The limit ensures that growth in government spending will be no faster than the growth in population and inflation. So the calculated appropriations limit for Escondido this upcoming year is a little over $1.9 billion. And appropriation subject to the limit is a little over $143 million, so the city is well below the calculated limit. And then lastly is the city salary and benefits plan. So the management and unclassified salary and benefits plan is updated no less than annually. In December 2025, City Council last adopted the salary and benefits plan. Exhibit A of Resolution 2026-105 provides the current management and unclassified salary and benefits plan. The full-time compensation plan was also last reviewed and approved by the City Council in December of 2025. In order to comply with the Public Employees Retirement Law, Public Employees Pension Reform Act of 2013, and Title II of the California Code of Regulations, the full-time compensation plan must be made publicly available and approved by the governing body no less than annually. So Exhibit A of Resolution 2026-107 provides the full-time compensation plan. So that concludes staff's presentation. Again, we are requesting City Council approval of 4 resolutions. The first, approving the fiscal year 2027 annual operating budget. Next, approving the resolution approving the appropriations limit for the fiscal year. And then resolution number 2026-105, amending and reestablishing the salary and benefits plan. And resolution 2026-107, amending and reestablishing the full-time compensation plan for all full-time employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
Yes, we have one speaker on this item, Christina Miller.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff. First, I'd like to sincerely thank the city staff for the tremendous amount of work and preparation into the budget. A city budget is simply not a spreadsheet. It reflects months of analysis, difficult choices, cuts, competing priorities, and countless hours of public service, and I completely appreciate that. I do question this budget as it does not provide enough public safety for the city of Escondido's current size or the city that we are becoming. Public safety is the most fundamental service that a city provides. Before we discuss new projects, new programs, new development, we must first know that when we call for help, a trained police officer, a dispatcher, a firefighter, or emergency medical personnel will be available. Between 2021 and 2026, we've permitted approximately 2,309 new housing units. Under the state regional housing allocation needs, we expect that to be 9,607 by 2029. That growth means more residents, more traffic, more calls for service, and greater demands on police, fire, dispatch, paramedics, and support personnel. Using the national benchmark of 1.6 police officers per 1,000 and the new updated residential amount of 2026 with those new buildings of 155,000 residents, Escondido should have 249 sworn police officers. Looking through the allocation of public safety on this budget, unless I missed a few numbers, they've got about 172, which makes us short 77 police officers, not including support staff, needing to support those at 1 per 15. We have seen what happens in other cities, maybe those south of us, when population growth and public staffing do not keep up. Response times increase, proactive policing decreases, existing personnel burn out, and residents lose confidence in our government and the people in these chairs. A safe city is a thriving city. As businesses invest in safe cities, families remain in safe cities, families move to safe cities, and visitors return to safe cities. It all comes down to the budget. I recommend that you review the city's fee structure at the police department to find some more funding for this. They're very rarely reviewed, and we have 4 new traffic cops. I know they can make some money. Additionally, I would like us to consider maybe cannabis growth and exploration, perhaps in East Grove or those other environmental agricultural locations. It takes 2 years to build a cop. It takes 2 years to build a firefighter. It takes 2 years to build a housing project. As we continue to build more housing in our city that we need to continue to fund public safety and infrastructure as we go forward. We cannot wait until thousands and thousands of people are here and then try to play catch up. It takes time to build public safety, and it should be a priority. It's a comment. I don't think it's a pose or objection. It's a comment to up staffing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. No further public comments on this item.
Very well, I will close the public hearing. Now we'll move on to council discussion. Councilmember Fitzgerald.
No questions or comments other than thank you, good job. It all looks really good and very promising. I would like to motion to approve.
Muy bien. I'm very well. There is a motion to approve. Is there a second? Do we have a second? Councilmember Garcia. Councilmember Garcia, do you have any comments? Councilmember Martinez.
I'll be brief, but I just want to say I'm really happy seeing this budget focus a lot on traffic. I see we have more, traffic safety dollars going in, and we also have more money to our Traffic Safety Commission. And there is a traffic safety meeting, I believe, happening this month or next month. So I know traffic is a big issue to our community, and we are making those investments, and we are using Measure I funds as well for that. But also, it's really helpful when the residents go on yourescondido.com and tell us what the priority is around traffic, and also going to those meetings to go ahead and help us prioritize intersections and areas of need. So happy to support this budget, and that's all my comments. Thanks to staff for all the hard work of months of meetings to get us to this point.
We get to hear you a few times a year, and that comes from day in and day out looking at numbers. That's not my gift, and I could not run any, I could not be a finance director because that is just not my gift. But truly, I appreciate the fact that you have been going out into the community. You have put out what needs there are, the listening also, and the changes are now beginning to, we can see them happening on the budget, because if they don't happen on the budget, it's almost impossible for things to happen. A clean city and a safe city is a place where people want to invest. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And with that, let us move on to vote.
Voting is open. And Mr. Mayor, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion approved, 5-0.
Very well. Item 12, the ordinance on the e-bikes has been continued until the 24th. So that moves us to future agenda items. Does anyone have anything to add? Very well, not seeing any. We'll move on to subcommittee reports and other reports. So we'll start on this side now.
Let's see. So on Tuesday, I attended yesterday a ribbon cutting for the new community stage that was given by the Rotary Club of Escondido for their centennial gift to our community, and the stewards of that are the California Center for the Arts. So wonderful to have a new asset for the community to be able to use this mobile stage. It was beautiful, it was fun, great music, great food. And we had a sister city meeting last week, I believe. It's all a blur because we've been meeting every week. And I think that's all I think that's the only subcommittee I had this week. So that was a very fun event, and yeah, I'll see you next week. That's all I have for this week.
Thank you to my community for the privilege of serving.
I also attended the Centennial Stage ribbon cutting with my colleague, Councilmember Martinez. I attended a SANDAG meeting, and there's a lot going on, and we're trying to have the people in our county keep their money. So it's a new SANDAG. I don't know if you've heard a lot of things in the news about it, but it's a new board, a new leadership, and things are getting cleaned up, so it's very promising. I just want to let you know. But I want to take the rest of my time here addressing something. Christina Miller, I really appreciate what you said about the budget, what is needed for public safety and how a community works. And as you were speaking, it's like, wow, you took it right out of one of my, many speeches as far as the importance of public safety being first, and, that's how we get businesses, families, communities, and how it makes everything go around. So with that, I do want to report that, and it kind of ties into what was reported on the budget, that one of the new programs, because of the increased budget for our public safety for the police department, the chief just recently created a community enhancement division. So it's the COPS program, it's gangs, narcotics. So essentially they went out on one of their first big crime suppression details, focusing on the center of the city's highest crime area. So I just want to let you know that as of, it was about a week ago, our city is a much better place. So there were 73 contacts. There were 18 citations issued on whether it was criminal, misdemeanors, those are citations or other offenses. 16 arrests, including prostitution, possession of drugs, and so on, and weapons. 6 felonies and 10 misdemeanors were in the mix of that. The arrests also included 2 separate narcotic sales cases, and those 2 cases were major drug dealers in North County that were here trying to hang out in Escondido. So I just want to let you know that this Measure I funding is working. Staffing for the police department, our safety services is working, and they're getting the job done. So I just thought you should get an update on that. Also, this Saturday, I did attend the iSports proposal, the community engagement meeting. And I have to say that it was such a good turnout. I want to thank the Escondido residents who came out, whether it was for or against. It is really important for us to hear your side, your opinion, your point of view, and for us to be able to take that information and look into it and be able to offer questions. I do want to remind you that there is an Escondido, it's all the information regarding the questions that you posed or whatever concerns you have. If you go to the Your Escondido page, there is an iSports proposal, area there. You can click on that, and it'll answer a lot of the questions. It'll categorize the majority or all of the questions by category. It'll provide you the long form questions with more details, and then also a summary for you to be able to do. And there's an FAQ there for you to still submit information that we are still seeking. So I want to thank the public for really showing up. And again, whether you were for or against, your input was very important. I'd also really like to, I'm going to give a shout out to staff. I'm telling you, it was a lot of work. I was amazed at how well it was put together. An extra thank you to the director of, the deputy city manager, Joanna Axelrod. She facilitated it. She made sure that everybody was being sent to the right place. And then also just all the staff that was there. Everybody from every single department that had a hand in there. I mean, you had the subject matter experts available. So I want to say just thank you to all our staff that are here. I don't see everybody. I see Veronica Moronis back there. And anyway, you guys did a fantastic job, and thank you. And again, thank you for the community for caring enough to come, engaging, and giving us your opinion. And that's all I have.
I understand the mayor doesn't have a report. He'll be saving his until next week. So I have a few things to share. I also was with Councilmember Martinez. We were on the Sister Cities Committee, and we've had a number of meetings, and they've been very productive. We're very excited of all the plans and things that are going on with that. I had the opportunity yesterday to represent the city as Congressmember Scott Peters toured Grand yesterday here, and then in addition to that, he also got a tour of the KB homes here in Escondido, the first in the country fire-resistant, fire-hardened community, the first one in the entire country, which is amazing to see the video of the difference between a home that's not doesn't follow all the requirements and the difference, the savings on the insurance. Homes cannot even get insured at this point, but with all this hardening going on, everything that these developers have done, the insurance industry, they're actually insuring, and they're insuring at an affordable rate. So which I found very, very exciting. Congressmember and his staff were there, and I also represented the city for that. Tomorrow, I have a NCTD board. Prior to that, I'll have an NCTD Marketing, Servicing, Planning, and Business Development Committee meeting. So that's what's going on, and that'll conclude my report. Thank you. City Manager's report.
Nothing to report.
You know, after all this time that you left us alone here, you don't have anything to say.
How was your vacation?
Yeah, I know. How was your vacation? We missed you. Thank you for coming back home. All right. Oral communications.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Mayor. And thank you for the public for your patience. It is now, we have about 12 speakers on this oral communication. First is Melissa Petrie.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to speak, and thank you for all the work that you all do. I've never spoken at a city council meeting before, but felt it necessary to come voice my concerns today. My family has been a part of Escondido for nearly 100 years. I have seen a lot of changes and know the history of this special city. I want to preface that I am not opposed to this city continuing to grow, but it should do so with thoughtful long-term consideration. I live adjacent to Kit Carson Park. My backyard opens to the beautiful trails. Myself and my family use the park almost daily. It is a gem and a treasured part of our life and the community's lives that we engage with daily. My 11-year-old son has grown up using the park daily, from a baby using the little kid playground to now a big kid who does sports. He cried when I shared with him how the park could be changing. Kit Carson Park belongs to the people of Escondido and should not be for sale. A long-term lease of public park land should not be rushed or approved before residents fully understand the project's impacts, costs, risks, and alternatives. A project of this scale deserves transparency, environmental review, careful consideration, and community trust. I ask the city not to approve a lease, site control agreement, development agreement, or other binding commitment that could limit the city's consideration of alternatives before completing the required environmental review. CEQA must inform the decision-making process, not merely document or justify a decision that has effectively already been made. Additionally, I ask the city to fully explore alternative locations for the proposed Rinks Ice Complex. Surely, we can do better and find a better solution that's a win-win for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Christina Miller.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. My name is Christina Miller, and I'm speaking in opposition of placing the proposed ICE facility in Kit Carson Park. Two things can be true. The Rinks Foundation can bring forward an exciting proposal with real potential for our city, and Kit Carson Park can still be the wrong location for that proposal. I support youth sports. I support economic development and new opportunities for our community. But those goals do not require us to overlook environmental concerns or commit public parkland to a 50-year lease before every reasonable alternative has been fully and publicly evaluated. 50 years may sound abstract, but it's not abstract in my family. My mother-in-law and father-in-law built their lives in the neighborhood around Kit Carson Park for more than 50 years of marriage. They went to college, they graduated, they raised children, welcomed grandchildren, built a home and a community, and faced the fear and uncertainty of cancer together. Their entire adult life unfolded over roughly the same amount of time that you're proposing for this lease. That's how long 50 years is. It is a lifetime. As a community, we should not vet a long-term partner with this. We should vet the long-term partner with the same care, honesty, and seriousness that we would in proposing a lifelong spouse. We, the entire public, should understand their financial strengths, weaknesses, the long-term responsibilities for all parties, and what protections are in place and when circumstances change, because they always do. I've seen it happen in marriages. This is not a temporary agreement. It is a relationship that could shape our city and potentially our parks for generations. Kit Carson is also not empty land. It is not. It is part of a larger natural system that includes drainage corridors, mature trees, scrub and habitat, and protected species, including threatened coastal California gnatcatcher and the endangered least Bell's Vero. This does not mean that Escondido cannot have an ice rink. It means we should choose location and partnership reasonably. The public deserves a complete and transparent review of the proposed partner, existing impacts for traffic, environmental, and recreation. This is something that we, as public servants, can and should propose, supporting both options. An ice rink can happen, and we can preserve our public park spaces for families like mine to enjoy for our entire lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And my most sincere apologies. The next person you wrote in beautiful cursive, I just cannot read it, and I apologize. That's on me. It's Melly. It starts. The first name is an M. Last name starts with an S, I believe. Melly. Is that? I apologize. I cannot read it. Anyone with a first name M who might have signed up to speak? Okay. I'm so sorry. I'll call it again if we can. Our next one is Ruth Weber.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak today. My name's Ruth Weber, and I live close to Kit Carson Park. and I'm a music educator, and I create musical programming which teaches kids and families about taking care of our environment. What are we teaching our children by bringing this ice skate complex into Kit Carson Park? We're teaching them that protecting endangered species of animals is not valuable. 2, we're teaching them that it's okay to replace our green spaces and plant life that provide us with clean air with artificial turf that sheds microplastics and that can enter the food chain, disrupts regular water drainage, retains heat, and raises local temperatures, and that it doesn't matter what kind of carbon footprint we leave behind. Worst of all, we're teaching them that when a company has a lot of money and wants to build a huge complex that will be the home to a sports team that they own, replacing open land with additional parking spaces that will leach poisonous substances into the wetland areas when it rains and cause animal and plant life to get sick or die, we really don't care about that. Well, I and most of the people here today do care about this, and I would like to see a show of hands today how many people on the city council would commit to withholding support for a lease until the public has received a complete proposed agreement and reviewed all the environmental analysis necessary before putting in this project. So if you wouldn't mind raising your hands, if you would commit to withholding support for the lease until all that is done. So, and if we could let the record show that none of them are willing to do that. So I hope that you will think about it, please, and think about if you care about what the citizens of this community want, or if you care about the money. Because we can move the ice rink to another area, but we can't move endangered species to another area. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Weber.
Deputy Mayor, do you want to say something about responding?
May I was
Okay,
going to make a note of that. Thank you, Ms. Weber. So just for clarification, with respect to the Brown Act, since this particular item was not agendized, the council is prohibited from speaking about it or responding to it. So they're not allowed to respond to oral communications that are not on the agenda. So the next speaker was Melanique Seabrook. Melanique Seabrook, are you still here? All right, okay, so Robert Card. Robert Card.
Good evening, Mayor White and Deputy Mayor Garcia and council members and city staff. My name is Robert Card. I live at the north end of Kit Carson Park, and I'm here just to speak in opposition, and I realize it's not on the agenda, to the ice rink. You know, the park's wonderful. We use it, great open space, but bringing in an ice rink and hundreds and thousands of cars is just a detriment to the community, and it's not something where we could ever get lost open space back. Even at the end, when this facility is defunct and worn out, you end up getting stuck with a mess of hazardous waste, cooling systems that are filled with toxic chemicals and the like. My big concern, and my background is in that of environmental health and 39 years in the field of air pollution control, including being the executive officer of the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District from 2008 to 2020. I've dealt with air pollution issues. Bringing in traffic like this is not acceptable. The localized impacts of emissions from cars, particulate matter, smog-forming agents, and the like will impact air quality negatively, as well as public health. And in the vicinity of this park are 4 schools, and the traffic flow through the park will be tremendous if these ice rinks are built and utilized to their fullest. So I'm here to ask you, in the future, consider many other options, including off-site where there's room for it. Take this thing out of a park where it doesn't belong and put it somewhere where there's room and it will be acceptable and it would be a benefit to the community, not where you decimate a park to put in something that's of a commercial interest. With that, thank you for your time. I'll keep it short in case there are others who need to comment. And I appreciate all that you do otherwise, but thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Nancy Zempelli. Nancy Zempelli? Nancy? Nancy? Nancy Zempelli? No? Okay. All right. Our next speaker is Jim Rauch.
Good evening, City Council, and thank you so much for your service to our community. My name is Jim Rao. I've lived in the community 30 years, raised my family here, served as pastor for 21 years at the Presbyterian Church on Juniper, Westminster Press. I ride my bike through Kit Carson Park on a regular basis, and I heard on Saturday the commitment the city has to listening to the voice of Escondido, and I've been on the Your Escondido website. I'm not a big social media guy, but it seems like the negative comments are 20 for every one positive comment on the ice arena project. And the same on the Nextdoor app. I don't spend much time there, but as I look, it's 99 negatives to every single positive on this project. And so I understand as a leader that you can't always make everybody happy, but when a leadership team is overruling the will of the people in such a breathtaking way, it just makes me curious what's driving the process. Yes, I served as a pastor, but I was also an econ major at UC San Diego, and I understand trade-offs. I understand fiscal responsibility, and so if we're getting some kind of revenue, $250,000 a year, whatever it is, I don't see that the people of Escondido are benefiting from this, and that an outside entity is the real winner in this deal. And so I'm not anti-business, right? Okay, yeah, I'm not anti-business, I'm not anti-growth, I'm not anti-change, but I am deeply committed for the people of Escondido that I see using that park on a regular basis, and knowing that something of this magnitude is going to make a significant change in the whole way that park feels and how it functions. And so I just would urge the council to please listen to the people that you're elected to serve, instead of giving away a precious resource like this to an outside commercial entity. So, but I do appreciate your work for our city. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Anna Marie Velasco.
Good evening, council members. I heard about this project about 3 weeks ago on a morning TV show. I couldn't believe it. I'd never seen it or heard before. And at first I was quite positive, attracted to the design of the building until I saw where it was supposed to be located. And that was the end of my support. But I want you to know that this green band doesn't mean that those of us who are here against the project, we're against the location of this project. And I think you owe us a serious study of alternative sites for this project. I appreciate Mr. Christian Garcia. He, in social media, you address several other sites, but that's not enough. You need to go deeper to tell us what are the pros and the cons on each of these sites before we can even think about giving an inch of our green space, public space. We cannot ask you for anything else. Until then, we will need to oppose it. So do your work, go deeper, tell us why you're not addressing the mall. It may not be convenient. You addressed it, Mr. Garcia. It may not be convenient. Maybe a little bit more complicated process because of all the leases. But we're not here to please the developers. We're here to defend our rights as citizens of our green space, which today are worth gold. Green space is worth gold. It's not transactional. So let's go deeper. Mall is a good option. They don't have neighbors right there, homes, right next to the freeway. If what was for Costco was good, why is it not good for this new venue? The old Isoplex that went out of business, I'm still not convinced this project is a result of Escondido residents' interest, but I'm open. If it's going to bring revenue and other positive things to our city, why not being open? But let us know why that site is not okay. They may have to change their design, so be it, right? We're not going to accommodate. They need to accommodate to us the needs of our city and our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is James Griffin.
Good evening. My name is James Griffin. I am the president of Escondido Soccer Club and Escondido Surf. I am here representing the club. We are one of the largest youth sports organizations in Escondido. We are one of the primary users of Francis Ryan Park, which is one of the facilities which may have some impact from the Rinks Foundation project. I would like to begin first. I've never been before you before. We want to say, as a club, we've operated for 50 years in Escondido. We interact with your staff here in Escondido. Thank you. Some of the staff that we interact with on a regular basis, Robert Rhodes, Patrick Martinez, Wayne Thames, Kimmy Cornett, Jen Voldseth, they all work very hard and help support our program. Again, we have about 2,200 kids in our program across approximately 150 recreation teams that participate throughout the year and about 50 competitive teams that run year-round. The impacts on our program are sort of unknown at this point. One of the proposals that they had at one of the community service events was that we would lose probably somewhere between 1 field and 3 fields at Francis Ryan Park. I guess I need to speak out and boom my voice. One of the items at the community service engagements is that we would potentially lose somewhere between 1 and 3 fields at Francis Ryan Park. It's sort of unclear. It's one of the renderings showed 1 field, but we've seen a couple of different things, and those renderings are sort of unknown at this point. One of the questions is, if some soccer fields are lost at Francis Ryan Park, is the city looking at other sites to build additional park space beyond what the relocation would be of the softball fields to Ryan Park? I guess one other question that I would have was another site looked at for the relocation where you would have another piece of land where the softball fields could be relocated, which would potentially make it, an additional add to the city. Those were really where we're at, looking for, representing our members. And I think that those are probably the things from our standpoint at Escondido Soccer Club and Escondido Surf that we're looking to sort of hear that we can share with our members. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Vanessa Valenzuela.
Good evening. My name is Vanessa Valenzuela, and I am a lifelong resident of Escondido, and I am here to speak in opposition of the proposed lease, the MOU and the proposed lease agreement as a site location. Folks have mentioned that public parks shouldn't be used for private benefit. People have addressed the traffic impacts. Folks have spoken about environmental impact and the loss of green space, displacement of other programs. The list goes on and on. The mayor and this council keep saying that this is the beginning of the process, but this proposal has been 3 years in the making. Press releases promoting the project were out weeks ago, and the entire hockey community in Southern California was primed to make this sound like an amazing opportunity for Escondido. All of this before your first public meeting. My understanding from staff is that you are potentially bringing forth a lease for consideration in July, but initially you considered June 24th. This is being shoehorned in without transparency, and the rollout has been less than stellar. The proposed lease agreement of $187,000 per year is roughly $15K a month, a pittance, laughable. $2 per resident annually would be a net positive. But I want to address the narrative that the rinks, backed by the Somalis, are investing in Escondido. Based on the MOU, the rinks would be using bond debt to finance this project. Escondido land and some scraps for public access are being used to create a veil of public benefit. This is not for Escondido. This is a regional training facility for hockey and ice skating, and the girls hockey team who currently lack a dedicated practice facility. People will not drive into town, and most of the economic impact will go straight to the developer's bottom line. If you move forward with this site, you've sold out the residents of Escondido. Thank you. I hope this is enough for people who voted for you in the last election to see that you do not deserve the community's trust. People should know, and they must know, that with the stroke of a pen, that you can and you should instead put this on a ballot measure this November. Let voters weigh in on it. This is exploitation of Escondido dressed up as an investment, and you have rolled out the red carpet. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Amelia Martinez.
To the second. 5, 6, 7. Dane's not here. Hold on. Get one for Dane. Hello, my name is Amalia, and I'm here as a representative and board member of the Escondido Democratic Club, opposing the proposed location of the Rings Foundation to build a 3-sheet ice facility at Kit Carson Park. Because I am part of a hockey family and have been a hockey mom, I have a personal perspective into the sport but I also live off Bear Valley, and my family and I enjoy Kit Carson Park regularly. So my perspective also comes from the place of a resident. Because the city has been working with the Ducks for years on this proposal without transparency to the public, our club fears the city may be operating under the assumption that this is a done deal. It appears as if the city is making a great effort to push this through to a conditional lease agreement without first making a sincere effort to hear from the community. Although this is absolutely a nonpartisan issue, because of your haste in adopting the MOU and possibly moving forward with the lease vote, our club felt it necessary to take an official position on this issue. We passed a resolution at our last meeting, which I have now given you all a copy, and I will read a couple of excerpts. Kit Carson Park is one of Escondido's most treasured public parks and are held in trust for the benefit of the entire community and should remain accessible, affordable, responsive to the recreational needs of local residents. This proposed project could significantly alter the character and public use of parkland to a specialized facility serving a limited user base. Whereas residents have expressed concerns regarding traffic congestion, parking impacts, environmental effects, public infrastructure costs, water and energy consumption, noise, and the potential loss of open space and recreational opportunities currently available to the public. Major decisions regarding the use of public parkland require meaningful community engagement, transparency, and a thorough evaluation of alternatives before commitments are made. And public resources should be invested in projects that broadly benefit Escondido residents and preserve equitable access to recreational opportunities for all community members. To be clear, we do not oppose the project of bringing ice sports to Escondido. We oppose the proposed location of Kit Carson Park. Now, I'm going to take off my board member hat and speak on behalf of myself. A public comment form was handed out at the 2 community meetings following the MOU adoption, which I've given you guys all a copy of. Just based on the wording of the comment form, it appears to have been written by the Ducks organization itself. But city staff was handing this form out at the community meetings. Additionally, the data collected from this form seems to be compiled for the Ducks, not the city, likely not subject to public records requests. Sean, I believe your deputy city manager has been compromised. Pun intended, if you walk like a duck and you quack like a duck, you're a duck. She needs to step away from anything resembling a City of Escondido logo and put on the Ducks jersey. She appears to be acting on behalf and not on behalf of the community. I believe most of you were not at those two community meetings, and I think that is why she may have felt it was okay to conduct herself in that shameless manner. If you want to be able to say the majority of Escondido wants this, I suggest that you get this on a ballot so that the residents could vote for it. That would negate the appearance that you all have been bought and are willing to sell out Escondido and our treasured Kit Carson Park to a billionaire. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Stuart Reyes.
Good evening, City Council. I'm sorry that I'm not speaking on that one, but I do support him 100%. Good evening, City Council. I've spoken before about the safety concerns at Rock Springs, Seven Oaks, and Borden. Tonight, I'm simply asking for an update. Where does the project stand? What's being considered, and what is the timeline? I'm particularly concerned about pedestrian safety, traffic speed, and lack of safe shoulders and crosswalks for students on Rock Springs. Thank you, and I look forward to some type of response. This is like the third time I've spoken. Thank you. I have more time. Oh, well, maybe I can talk about Kit Carson. You know, I'm a 49-year resident of Escondido. There's not a lot of 49-year residents here right now. I remember when they got rid of Kit Carson Park, well, when they built North County Shopping Center, and it was wonderful, but it benefited everybody because people shop there. You're not going to see me with skating, and I think most of the people aren't going to be skating in Escondido, even though it's a good sport, I guess. But my concern is that when you guys are up there acting, you're acting on behalf of the citizens, not on your own ideas of certain things. So I think that you should put this on a ballot so that the people of Escondido can vote if we want to have something like this. And then, you know, we can talk about money and all the other things. But it's so important that you listen to the people, and they're not going away because they are the people. City Council can change, and it probably will. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Christina Reza. If we could keep our phones silent, thank you so much.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Christina Reza. I'm a resident of City of Escondido for about 11 years now. I'm a part of an organized neighborhood in Escondido at the Redwood Terrace and Tulip. I'm here to address a concern request for the city to add a stop sign on the right corner of West Tulip, West 12th Avenue and South Tulip Street. Last Wednesday, June 3rd, around 7 p.m., my daughter was playing on the front yard with her dog, Cuddles. She was part of our family. So she ran across the street. She got run over by a reckless driver. Didn't stop. It went very fast. This is not the first time the cars go really fast all the time. They don't stop because there is no stop sign there. We need to do something about it, not just because of we lost our dog, was a member of a family, because there is a Redwood Terrace, which is a senior living across the street. There is Felicitas Elementary right at the other side of the street. So there's kids, there's older people passing by, crossing the street. So 2 weeks ago was my dog. What's gonna be next? So we have to do something about it. That's what I'm here. I'm sorry, it's the first time I'm speaking and stand, and I support the Carson City. My daughter goes there all the time, and she's also a member of the surf club, so I support it as well. But we need to do something about it. Like, what else do we need to do? Tell me what we need to do. If I need to get more signatures, I'll do it. Whatever it takes, I will do it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Teddy Jackson.
Thank you, council members, mayor, virtually. Bear with me, I'm going to have to read this. My eyes are a little tight here. Good evening. My name is Teddy Jackson, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Protect Rural Escondido. And as a 30-year resident who believes our public parks are among the most valuable assets we leave to future generations. More than a century ago, President Theodore Roosevelt warned that a nation must treat its natural resources as assets that should be passed on to the next generation, increased and not impaired in value. That principle remains just as important today. Kit Carson Park is not vacant land waiting for a new use. It's one of Escondido's most treasured public spaces. It serves children, families, seniors, hikers, cyclists, birdwatchers, disc golfers, tennis players, community groups, and countless residents seeking a connection to nature. Nearby playgrounds are filled with children every day, and the park provides one of the few places in our city where people of all ages and abilities can gather, exercise, recreate, and enjoy open space together. This proposal would permanently transform a portion of irreplaceable public parkland into a regional spectator facility. While I support youth sports and recreational opportunities, I do not believe they should come at the expense of one of our most valuable public parks. The location also raises important concerns about increased traffic on Bear Valley, impacts to surrounding neighborhoods, and the disruption of wildlife habitat. Kit Carson Park is home to migratory birds and a wide variety of wildlife that depend on the park's open space, natural areas, and habitat corridors. Increased lighting, noise, traffic, and year-round activity would inevitably change the character of this environment. Unlike the park's traditional sunrise to sunset recreational uses, an ice facility would require evening operations, extensive lighting, tournaments, and spectator traffic well into the night. That is a fundamentally different use than the passive and family-oriented recreation that residents have long enjoyed at Kit Carson. Once parkland is lost, it is rarely ever recovered. Once wildlife habitat is fragmented, mature landscapes are altered, and open space is replaced with development, those impacts cannot simply be undone. As a planning and public works professional for more than 30 years, I can tell you there are other locations that can accommodate this facility. There is only one Kit Carson Park. The question before us is not whether ice sports are valuable. They are. The question is whether one of Escondido's most treasured public parks is the right location for a regional ice complex. I respectfully urge the city to pause this process, conduct a transparent public review, and evaluate alternative sites that can accommodate this facility without sacrificing precious parkland that belongs to all the residents. Future generations will judge us not by what we built, but what we chose to protect. And I will say that the comment form was really disturbing. It was 140 characters, which is basically a tweet. So it really added no value. But thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next is Maria Wallace.
Really didn't prepare, but just good evening, council members. I guess I would like to know why, after 2 years of conversation with this foundation, you come to the public. 2 years is a long time. And the way we found out is very disappointed. And suddenly you want to approve the lease this summer? This is a very shady way of doing business. We need transparency. Listen to the community. Slow down. Consider a different location. Thank you.
No further public comments on this item.
Very well. Then no further comments. We are adjourned.